in HBCU
right.
football. But you and Coach Mack, two young guys steadily carving out your own niche. What is it? Because I've talked to you plenty of times, but I've never asked you this. What do you want your legacy to be?
Well, I think my legacy is probably one that's a little bit. It's changed over the years because, there were times when I was, basically self-centered and focused on myself and selfish at times. And the focus was about me winning championships and me being successful. But, I had to really do a shift because at the end of the day, this is about service and I'm here to serve young people. So my goal now is to graduate players, to get them to play really good football, and to get them to have a great college experience. And I believe if I do that more times than not, then we'll be able to attract the talent that we need to attract. And then that will help us build the program that we want to build. So that's my goal, to do that.
Now, when we talk about players, and this is the HBCU Report, Rob Calloway on the line right now with Broderick, Fobbs, head football coach of the Grambling State Tigers, as we get you ready for the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl, 12 o'clock kickoff on ABC. When you talk about, some of your players, of course, everybody talks about Devontae Kincaid, the young man that came over from the SEC. This year, he was, 203, 310 passing. Where would you rank him, like right now?
Ooh, well, I'll tell you, he's one of the best. I believe that. The thing that's interesting about him is he has the trifecta. He can throw the football with the best of them. He can run the football with the best of them. And then cerebrally, he can pick apart a defense mentally. So, I don't know any quarterback that can have the trifecta, and he has it, So we're pleased to have him. And, of course, he's doing nothing but getting better week in and week out. And he's going to be even better next year for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you wish you could get he and Chad Williams, get Chad to stay around one more year so they could team up for you one more time, huh?
No, that would definitely be nice, to have Chad for one more season. But we have some other guys that can make some things happen also.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, before I let you go, just got to ask you, as we get ready for this game, North Carolina Central, has a lot of weapons on the defensive side of the ball. What do you have to do? What does your team have to do in order to come out victorious in this Celebration Bowl?
The first thing is we have to play with passion and we have to play hard, the how in which we go about playing. Secondly, we have to play mistake-free football. We can't turn the football over. But then thirdly, we have to score points and then turn them over and put them in bad situations and make them one-dimensional. Well, now we can do what we want to do defensively. So that's the whole key to the football game. And in big games, that's very important, how you go about handling your business and how you play mistake-free football.
He is Broderick Fobbs, head football coach of the Grambling State University Tigers. They are in action. 12 o'clock kickoff live from the Georgia Dome on ABC. It is the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. They take on the North Carolina Central University Eagles. Coach Fobbs, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We wish you nothing but the best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you post-game, okay?
Thank you so much, man.
All right, have a good one.
It's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cool time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Follow the HBCU Report on Twitter. Become a fan on Facebook at HBCU Report. This is the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
This is the HBCU Report, being heard via Spreaker.com. We are powered by SportsNewsandBrews.com, your official source for sports, black news, political news, and the latest on your favorite craft beers. And ladies and gentlemen, it has all come down to this. It is the 2016 Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl, where we have the North Carolina Central University Eagles, the MEAC champs, taking on the SWAC champs, the Grambling State University Tigers. 12 o'clock kickoff on ABC. They have the ABC broadcast crew of Mark Neely and Tiffany Green. And the other voice that you'll hear is the good friend of the show, Jay Walker. You can follow him on Twitter at JWalkerSky. Mr. Gimme Five. What's happening, Jay?
What's going on, man? You got to, when you introduce those teams, you have to say the undefeated, undisputed SWAC and MEAC champions.
Oh, they're definitely that. I mean, here we have maybe the best situation possible for this game, where we have Grambling, who hasn't lost the game since they lost to Arizona. And then we have North Carolina Central, who opened the season with 2 losses to FBS opponents in Duke and Western Michigan, and haven't looked back since. What do you expect when these two teams hook up, Jay?
I think it's got everything that you want. Obviously, the speed and the star power of Grambling will be on display. Quarterback Devontae Kincaid, SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, transfer from Ole Miss. He's the real deal. 33 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Going against the team unity of North Carolina Central, a team that for much of the year was second fiddle, even in their own state, to North Carolina A&T. But they knocked them off along with everybody else in the Mid-East Athletic Conference. They're playing with a chip on their shoulders, so it's going to be a great game down in Atlanta.
Now, you have Vegas. They have Grambling as the favorites to win this game. And I saw a quote from Malcolm Bell, the quarterback from North Carolina Central. He was kind of salty about that, the fact that I think they opened with 13 points, 13-point underdogs. And his whole thing is he doesn't understand why they have to be an underdog when, he feels like this team is just as good as Grambling. And based on, when you talk about the conference records, they are.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think, Vegas missed the boat on this one. Maybe they just haven't seen these two teams play. Obviously, you fall in love with Grambling, the story, the tradition, all the points in the offense that they're putting up. But North Carolina Central, they're a gritty team. And Malcolm Bell, he's really impressive. He can play. He really can play. He talk about a dual-threat quarterback that's a senior, has really stepped up his passing this year as a quarterback, and that along with his running ability. He's a great weapon. So I know Central's going to come in with a chip on their shoulder if they already didn't have one. I just think 13 points, that's too big a spread for either team, and I think both coaches would agree to that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the HBCU Report. Rob Calloway on the line with Jay Walker of ESPN as we get you ready for the 2016 Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. 12 o'clock kickoff on ABC, live from the Georgia Dome. This is going to be a great one. Now, talking about these two teams, and I just want to get your opinion on this because I'm not sure if this is going to have any bearings, but, you're the professional when it comes to this. North Carolina Central, they haven't seen a SWAC opponent since 2006. Do you think that might play a pivotal role in this game, the fact that we know that the MEAC and SWAC play two different styles of football?
I think it will, but not necessarily in the football perspective. I think, MEAC football is a little bit more physical. You have to play in the trenches. You have to deal with weather conditions more frequently. So typically the MEAC schools run the football a little bit better. But I think the issue that Central has to worry about is the star power. You're taking on Grambling. And, when Grambling is rolling, you have to respect that G on the helmet. When I was in college, you heard Grambling, you thought twice, like, man, are we ready? So I think Central has to go out there and realize, hey, we can play with them. We're on the same field for a reason. If they don't get starstruck by the G from Grambling, then it's going to be a great ball game. But I do believe that's something that Grambling has in their favor. They've played on big stages before. Grambling traditionally expected to be here. Now they've got to prove that, they are the number one team in HBCU football, which is what they're currently ranked.
Absolutely. Now, you were in Houston for the SWAC championship, weren't you? Were you down there?
Yes.
Okay.
I was. Called the game.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I'm always looking for your face. Like
I got a big head, man. Kind of hard to miss it. Man.
Like that's my boy. I was just not to get outside, but I was just telling Coach Mack. We were talking about you, and I was like, I was telling him, I was like, yeah, man, I try to, hit a couple games on the road during the year because, here in Atlanta, we just have these SIAC schools, Clark and Morehouse. And I was like, yeah, man, I said, I'm out, doing my thing, thinking I'm, being low key. I was like, man, I turn around and who do I see? I see my boy, Jay Walker.
Well, hey, if the game's big enough, I'm going to be there. And if I wasn't working, I'd still be there as a fan.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. But, all right, so getting back to the SWAC championship. Now, this game, there were a few things that could have come out of this game. And but I think ultimately, we saw exactly, what the Celebration Bowl needed, and that was a Grambling victory. But what are your thoughts on Alcorn? Because they were real scrappy, man. They
were a scary, scary football team. And I was telling a lot of people going into that game, watch out. Grambling was a big favorite, but I said Alcorn for the first time all season got healthy. They got beat up pretty bad in those first two games, and they're the defending SWAC champion. They had an opportunity to prove and defend their crown, and they gave a game effort. They jumped on them early, and they were finally healthy, and they played physical Alcorn football. And I think that's the style of football we've been used to seeing from Alcorn the past two seasons, and it just wasn't there during the middle of the year. The injury bug really bit them. Their star player, Walford, he was out most of the season, so they came together and they put up a game effort quite easily. With a top pass, they could have won the football game and been representing the SWAC in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and and from that perspective, it would have been great for Alcorn because that would have been their third straight SWAC championship. That would have been phenomenal. But I can't lie to you, Jay, and I just want to get your opinion on this, man. To have Grambling in this game is so. I mean, it's so. I guess monumental, or I don't know what the word is, the exact word, but it means a lot. How about that? It means a lot to actually have the G represent in this game.
That's kind of being a fan. I mean, at the end of the day, you want the best teams there and the teams that qualify.
Right.
And Grambling knew in order to make it, they were going to have to not only win the West, but they were also going to have to win the SWAC championship. And now they've got to win the Celebration Bowl. They want to have this, great season that they had. So if Alcorn would have beat them, I would have had no problem with it because Alcorn, I mean, it's not hard to pump up the two-time defending SWAC champion.
Right, absolutely.
A team that, lost a close one last year and wanted to come back. That would have been an interesting storyline, too. But, I mean, having Graham in there from the outside, looking, you say, hey, you got the number 1 and 2 ranked teams in HBCU football. That's who you want to settle a championship on the field. So, I will say that, but I can understand why people would get into it. But Grambling's there; they do bring the star power, the world's most famous HBCU football team in the world. So we're going to see if they have what it takes to, cap off a great season, a great comeback.
Absolutely. This is the HBCU Report. Rob Calloway on the line with Jay Walker of ESPN. You'll be able to see him live. 12 o'clock kickoff, live from the Georgia Dome on ABC. It is the 2016 Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. Now, there's a lot of significance when it comes to this matchup between Grambling and North Carolina Central that a lot of people might not be aware of. But in 1972, Jay, there was this game called the Pelican Bowl. It was the first
Pelican Bowl,
right?
Yeah.
It was the first postseason matchup between the SWAC and the MEAC, and who was in that game? Grambling and North Carolina Central University. So, I think this, again, like I said, I think it's a lot of significance when it comes to this matchup, when it comes to these two teams being in this game. And, when you look at both coaches, look at how they're both running like a parallel course in their respective conference. Both of them been there 3 years. Both of them been very dominant. Fobbs actually had, the first season was, him getting some things under his belt, but the second and third season, have been phenomenal. So what, I hate to even ask you this. What do you think is going? What's your prognostication as to what the final score is going to be, Jay.
Oh, wow. I got to call the game, so I'm not even going to